It's the end of the day with Ray. Hello, my friends. You know, yesterday I asked the OEMs a question. What the hell are y'all doing? There's a global pandemic. It lasted about 16, 17 months. It's just about over with now. And a lot of you are running your companies like it's still 2018 or 2019. So today what I want to do is I want to talk to the roll-ups, to the mega dealers of the document imaging channel. Folks, it's been a while since I've had their logos on my interactive board. So without any further ado, I want to put the logos of the mega dealers of the document imaging channel on my Sharp interactive board. Folks, here they are. Now you're looking at my board and you're saying, Ray, what the hell are these other companies doing on there? I have a question mark at the top of the board if you're listening to this. And underneath that question mark, I have Office Depot and Office Max. Well, they're not a copier mega dealer. I have Tomo Bravo. Well, they're not a copier mega dealer. And I have ConnectWise. Well, obviously, they're not a copier mega dealer. They're an IT services firm, right? What are they doing on the board? Because, ladies and gentlemen, for any one of these major mega dealers to move forward past the year 2021, they have to do a strategy acquisition. This cannot be about buying more print without a clear-cut strategy to diversify your deliverable into something broader. I'm the guy that's been screaming from the hilltops for a long, long time that you better get into IT services. You better get a really, really good defined deliverable. You better be able to deliver it profitable, and you better be able to go to market with something besides print, because print will continue to decline. And if you're going to run around and continue to buy copier dealers, you're kind of nuts if you're not going to figure out how to get more money out of those accounts. Because everybody knows whatever you're buying will be worth less tomorrow, even less the next day, and even less the next day. It's not a winning battle in a declining market. And one thing this global pandemic told everybody was the document imaging channel is definitely declining. No one is going to admit anything but that. If they do, they're insane. So ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about some strategies with these players because, you know, we're coming out of the pandemic and things have to move along. We have to have progress, right? And a lot of these, you know, mega dealers and roll-ups, they got some private equity money in there. They want an ROI on their money. I mean, the days of getting 9 or 10 times EBITDA are probably over if it's just about print. There's probably a lot of worried investors, a lot of worried dealer owners that are part of these organizations that are thinking, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? Folks, the only thing that's going to happen to make anything different or better is a strategy, and it better be a good one. So today I thought, let's talk about some strategies. I don't have all the answers, but you know what? When you imagine some things, when you look where nobody else is looking, you might discover something nobody else will find. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk about our friends here at ConnectWise. Let me get my board working here. Because ConnectWise is very, very interesting to me. And when ConnectWise ended up getting Continuum, so we know that ConnectWise is owned by Tomo Bravo, right? Everybody knows that. And we also know that ConnectWise also has Continuum. So Tomo Bravo bought Continuum, and then they gave that business to ConnectWise. So they sold it into ConnectWise, right? ConnectWise Continuum's one company. That means you got a IT services, master service provider, PSA tool, RMM company that has 15,000 partners across the globe that can deliver IT services, right? That's what it is. And right now, they do that through channel. They do that through resellers. But you know what, folks? ConnectWise started as an IT services company, and I believe that they could easily become one again in a major, major way. In other words, I believe ConnectWise could go direct. And now a lot of you are saying, Ray, that's crazy. And when I said this before, when they first got together with Continuum, you know, I brought this up, and people were like, Ray, that'll never happen. ConnectWise is a channel company. They'll be a channel company their whole life, blah, blah, blah. Well, first of all, never say never in this ever-changing world, and if you do, you're delusional. But the reality is, let me paint a picture for you where this could make some sense. Tomo Bravo has an investment in ConnectWise. ConnectWise, Continuum, have 15,000 partners, maybe more by now. If ConnectWise went to an enterprise account, just pick an enterprise customer with locations that are global, and they told that customer, we want to be your IT services company. Here's our clearly defined deliverable. And then they get the deal, they go to their partner network and distribute the work to their partners. Why can't that happen? That model's been working in the document imaging channel for decades. Our friends at Konica and Rico, they all do it, folks. They go out and they get major national accounts and they allow their partners to deliver the product and the services to the end users. Why can't ConnectWise do that? They can. All they have to do is decide to do it. Here's the reality, my friend. You know, one of the things that I don't like about these master service providers like Continuum. You know, one of the criticism I always had of that type of deliverable is that as an MSP using them, you are outsourcing your SLA to this company, to this third party. And you lost control of the service deliverable. You had to rely on them, right? Well, in my vision of ConnectWise going direct to the end user, guess what they immediately get? They get control of the deliverable. They're going to sell their stack their way. They're going to own that customer from birth to death. You're just going to facilitate the services. That's a whole different game. That can work. And who's to say that it won't work? Because in our ever-changing world, things have to be different. So let's think about this logically. If Tom O'Bravo went over to our friends at POA and said, hey, we want to work something out with you. We own ConnectWise Continuum. You're a major player in the print space. We want to give you money to go acquire more major players in the print space. And the way we're going to make it work and the way we're going to diversify it is we want to bring you our ConnectWise IT services business. Folks, I'm just talking. I'm not defining what's going to happen, but it's through conversations. It's through constant progress and work and working on these ideas. That's what causes innovation. So those of you that are trying to figure out how this is clearly defined right now as I'm talking to you and coming up with all the reasons why it won't work, turn the video off because I'm going to drive you crazy because you probably have no imagination. But those of you that want to think about how it could work and why it should work. You know, I say this a lot. We try to look at how things could be based on how they should be. Well, if you're in the Document Entity channel and you're one of these mega dealers, you know you should be doing IT services. You know you should be delivering something broad, right? A lot more broad than simply print. Well, if you know that, how could you do it? That's what you got to ask yourself. How could you do it? We've already defined you should do it. If that's not defined for you by now, you should really just get out and retire. But how could you do it? You could do it with folks like ConnectWise in a different platform. You could do it with new charter technologies. Maybe Oval Partners could see new charter in a different way. It's not about just throwing it in with FlexPrint, but how can this IT services business that they're building up across the country work in a print dealer application? How could print dealers benefit from what new charter can bring to the table? This is fun, folks. You know, get your own whiteboard out. Start thinking about what could be based on what should be, and your mind will go crazy because there's so many possibilities. There's so many possibilities out there. Marco, you know, I'm going to put a circle around Marco because I love those folks and I know them well, right? And they're good at IT services. I'm not saying that nobody else is. I'm just saying that Marco's really, really good at it. That puts him in a great strategy position. Because, you know, if they were to go out and do a deal with another mega dealer, they have an IT infrastructure and they know how to deliver to the market. They know how to do it well. They have a great operational maturity level, as Paul Dimple would say. So strategically, if they buy just print business, there could be some synergies and possibilities with that because they've proven they can execute IT. You know, but folks, you know what? Why can't Office Depot and Office Max do the same thing that Staples did with Dex? They could. Why couldn't they? What's the difference between Office Depot and Office Max and Staples and Dex? There's a clear difference. Office Depot and Office Max owns a company called CompuCon. And remember when Staples said, hey, we want to buy Office Max, but you could keep CompuCon? They really didn't understand the value. They're probably, I did a video on that and I kind of said, oh my God, you know, what if you should be buying CompuCon with it, give that to Dex so they could get into IT. And, you know, folks, a lot of things happened since the COVID. Maybe Staples thinking a little bit different. But when they're looking at CompuCon, you know, working through Office Depot, it didn't really work right. And the reason it didn't work right is because they didn't have feet on the streets like Staples has with Dex. So if they were to go out and they said, hey, Visual Edge, we want to buy your organization, they immediately have feet on the street. They immediately have feet on the street and they have CompuCon, the IT company, right? They could utilize that army of business-to-business resellers, because they don't have that now. They dabble in it. They have some reps that work for Office Depot. They probably have some reps that work for CompuCon. But that's not going to get them the global distribution that they want. That's why that could be very, very interesting to see what happens with Office Depot. Do they go ahead and get together with Staples? They're trying. Does Staples think about it again and say, well, maybe we want CompuCon. We saw this video Ray did. Folks, who knows? But the bottom line is IT services. You know, I know POA's into IT services. We got to figure out how we deliver IT services into this print business. And we don't have any more time to dabble in it. We don't have any more time for on-the-job training. We have to make acquisitions that are based on strategy. That's why I think this ConnectWise thing really, really intrigues me. ConnectWise, if you're watching, start thinking about this, because it is interesting. Our friends over at Ubio, you know, what's their game plan? You know, they definitely want to grow. They're out there buying up dealers. But are they going to diversify deep into those accounts? What's their IT strategy? Because it surely can't just be about print. So these are some of the things that could happen. What can you imagine? Folks, without imagination, well, we're just kind of left to someone else's reality, I guess, temporarily most of the time. Because we all know this, status quo is the killer of all that'll be invented. Don't get stuck in status quo, and I'll see you all tomorrow.